Hello little friends, welcome back to our channel, Wisdom for Kids. I'm so happy you're here again today. In our last episode, we learned that Abram and Sarai tried to help God's promise come true by making their own plan, but that plan brought pain and confusion. Even so, God still saw Hagar, cared for her, and told her to name her son Ishmael, which means God hears. But God had not forgotten his promise. He still planned to give Abram and Sarai a child, the one he had promised all along. Today's story is about a big moment when God comes to Abram again, and something changes forever. Today's story is called God Changes Abram's Name, from Genesis chapter 17. Let's begin. Episode 15, God Changes Abram's Name, Genesis chapter 17. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him. God said, "I am God Almighty. Walk before me faithfully and be blameless. Then I will make my covenant between me and you and will greatly increase your numbers." Genesis 17:1-2. Can you imagine that? 99 years old and still waiting, but God had not forgotten. He came again to remind Abram that his promise still stood. Abram fell face down to the ground. He was full of awe and respect. And God said something new. Genesis 17:4-5 says, "This is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations." The name Abram meant exalted father, but the name Abraham means father of many. It was a new name for a new promise. Even though Abraham still didn't have a child with Sarai, God already saw what was coming. He was saying, "This is who you really are. You are part of my plan." God said, "I will make you very fruitful. I will make nations come from you, and kings will come from your line." Genesis 17:6. Then God made a very serious promise, a covenant. He said, "I will be your God and the God of your children after you." He promised to give Abraham and his family the land of Canaan forever. Genesis 17:7-8. But this promise came with a sign, something to show the covenant was real. God told Abraham that every male in his family, including servants, must be circumcised. It was a special mark on their bodies to show that they belonged to God. Genesis 17:10-11. Abraham obeyed right away. Even though it might have seemed strange or hard, he did what God said. Genesis 17:23. And then God spoke about Sarai too. He said, "As for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her." Genesis 17:15-16. Sarai meant my princess, but Sarah means princess to many. God was saying, she will be the mother of nations. Kings will come from her. Abraham couldn't believe it. He bowed down with his face to the ground and laughed. He said to himself, "Will a son be born to a man 100 years old? Will Sarah have a child at 90? Genesis 17:17. He even said to God, if only Ishmael could be the one. But God said no. He said, "Your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him." Genesis 17:19. Isaac means laughter. Even though Abraham laughed, God was still faithful. He knew the promise seemed impossible, but that's what makes it so amazing. Nothing is too hard for God. God also said he would bless Ishmael and make him into a great nation too, but the special covenant, the forever promise, would pass through Isaac. Genesis 17:20-21. So that very day, Abraham obeyed. He circumcised himself, his son Ishmael, and every male in his household. Genesis 17:23-27. He trusted God and took action. Today, we learned that God always keeps his promises, even when they take a long time. Abraham and Sarah were old, but God said, "You will have a son," and he even gave them new names to match their new future. Sometimes we feel like something is too late or too hard, but with God, nothing is impossible. God might not change your name, but he has a plan for your life, one that's full of purpose and promise. And like Abraham, we can choose to believe God, even when it seems too big, too slow, or too amazing to imagine. Faith means trusting what God says, not what we see. So, if you're ever waiting on something, remember Abraham and Sarah. Remember that God always finishes what he starts. See you next time, friends. In our next episode, 3 visitors will come to Abraham's tent, and one of them will bring a message. This time next year, Sarah will have a baby. Could it really be true? Good night and sleep tight.